Hi team, I hope you're all well. Today we're going to be doing something just a little bit different. You'll have already seen the thumbnail and the title, but in collaboration with Colson, my gal Katie, basically for a number of months now I have been meaning to read the Veronica Speedwell series. Well, the first book at least anyway. And I've been telling Katie for a number of months now, this is the month, Katie, I'm going to read it because it's one of her favourite series. I'm going to read it, and then I just fucking don't. So on Sprints the other week, we had a conversation about it, and I said to her, look, you know, there is a way of forcing me to read this book. We could do like a cheeky little taste test where you give me a handful of books for me to read, and I do it all in a vlog. And she was like, okay, bet. So she asked me a whole bunch of questions for requirements, and I just said, whatever you've read that you love, that you think I may enjoy, send it my way. So she has done exactly that. She has filmed a clip for this video as well, which is incredible. And I have watched the clip. I was going to watch it and be surprised with you guys, but I have watched the clip because I wanted to figure out the best way to do this video. So what I'm actually going to do, the clip is about 4.5 minutes long, but what I'm actually going to do is I am going to show you the books one by one, and I'm going to read them. So I'm going to do Katie's clip introducing the book to you because she explains what the books are about, and then I'm going to read the book and you're going to get my thoughts, and then I'm going to do the second book same way. She's going to tell you what the book is and what it's about, and then I'm going to read it and give you my thoughts. And then the final book she is going to introduce, and I will let her round out her portion of the video at that point, and then I will read and wrap up, and then I'll wrap up the whole video at the end. That is the way this video is going to go. I don't know why you needed that explanation, but I wanted to give it you in that sense because the clip that she's given me is 4.5 minutes ish as a whole clip. So it might look a little bit choppy once I've cut it up. I'm not sure. I haven't worked out yet. But this is just the way I've done the video. So there's 3 books in total, and I'm really looking forward to this video. So yeah, without further ado, shout out to Katie for doing this because I truly appreciate it. She went above and beyond, and thank you for doing this with me, Katie. I really appreciate it because it's going to force me to get through a few books that I've really wanted to get through for a while, so I truly appreciate it. But without further ado, here is Katie telling you the first book.
Hey team, it's Katie Colson here, and Steph asked if I would not recommend, well, force her to read a couple of my favorite books. Now, I asked for criteria. I said, do these need to be things that I think that you're going to give 5 stars? She said, no, just my favorite, little taste test. So what I did is there are so many books that I could pick. So many. But there are 3 that I have like visceral feelings about. Like they have filled my soul, and I want Steph to experience them, and I want to watch Steph experiencing them. That's kind of like my whole route I'm taking with this video. Now, the first of which is the most obvious, the one that literally Steph was like, we all know you're going to say this, so I'm going to read it. A Curious Beginning by Deanna Raybourn. Y'all, I bet you never thought you'd see me again. I am obsessed with this series. Now, read the first one, and if you're like, oh, it's good, keep going. Keep going. I'm telling you, every single person says that. They're like, oh, I really liked the first book, whatever. And then they read it again and they're like 5-star shooting into the sun. This is kind of a cozy mystery. It's Victorian England, and we're following our main character, Veronica Speedwell, and she is a lepidopterist, which is basically a butterfly hunter. And she travels the world and she wants to experience a lot of new things, but it's difficult because women are not treated very well, obviously. And in one reason or another, she finds herself in the company of this man named Revelstoke Templeton Vane, or Stoker, as we like to call him. And he is a taxidermist. So they kind of unwittingly have to bond together to keep solving these crimes that keep happening around them. And the romance, the mutual respect, the banter, the feminism, it's perfect. It's perfect. Like, do you look at that? Are you freaking joking? I'm literally obsessed. And I need everybody and their mother and their brother and their aunt and their ghost that lives under their bed to get on this series because I'm literally obsessed with it. And I need Deanna Raybourn to be writing it forever. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Steph. This is taking so long.
Okay, so the first book that I am going to be reading for this video is A Curious Beginning by Deanna Raybourn. I'm really excited about this one, and I have already started this. I am currently 113 pages in. I started it last night and I didn't want to stop. So my aim, now that I've finished work for the day, is to actually just binge my way through this book. I think I was always nervous about picking this book up. I don't tend to read a lot of historical fiction. I do find that I just don't really enjoy it as much. The only reason I would necessarily reach for historical fiction these days is like a high fantasy setting or non-fiction. So I think that's one thing that's been putting me off. I think I've just been worried about the language in here because it is historical fiction. However, I have enjoyed historical fiction in the past. I love the Stalking Jack the Ripper series by Kerry Maniscalco. I love that series. So it's not unheard of for me to enjoy historical fiction. So I started this last night, immediately wanted to start tabbing it up. It's just so good. It's set in June 1887, and obviously we start off meeting Veronica, and she's super sassy. I just love her. I think she is great. She's the sort of person that you would want to be your friend, and I just really enjoy her character. I think she's fantastic. And I think also as well, because Stoker is the other main character in this book, and we end up meeting him because Veronica's having a chat with the vicar and his wife, and she's having a bit of a bitch at Veronica for something. I think it's to do with her clothing or something, and Veronica's like, listen, I won't stand for this, whatever you're not happy with, it doesn't matter anyway because I'm leaving, I'm off on another expedition, so see you in a bit. She gets home, someone's broken into her place, and they are then trying to kidnap her, and she ends up managing to get away because there's this other guy waiting for her that helps her get away. He's a German baron, and he knows information about Veronica's mother that she doesn't know anything about her mum. I think she'd passed away either when Veronica was very young or during birth. So she knows nothing about her mum, and this German baron has stuff that he can tell her, but now is not the time. He's trying to keep her safe. So he ends up taking her to Stoker. She's like, well, listen, I was going to go on an excursion anyway. I don't think I'm in any danger, but you reckon I am, and I was going to go on this excursion anyway, and you said you'll pay for my train journey. Win-win. I get a free train journey out of him. So he takes her to Stoker, says to Stoker, listen, you got to look after her. She's in trouble. There's something I need to go and do, and then I'll be back for her. And Stoker's like, begrudgingly, okay, fine. So a few days go by, and then it turns out in the paper that this German baron has passed away. Listen, all of this is in the synopsis up until that point, and then nothing. They're obviously trying to then figure out this mystery. Who's trying to reach out to Veronica? Why are they trying to reach out to Veronica? Veronica wants to find out information about her mum. Why did the baron die? What has all of this got to do with Veronica? And she's with Stoker, so now they're going to solve it together. The thing I love about Veronica and Stoker is the banter between the two of them. They remind me of me and Andy, and I think it's really, really funny. I think it's hilarious when people just abuse each other with love. You know, it's not necessarily with love at this point, but I know that this is going to manifest into the sort of thing where they're just going to verbally abuse each other with love, you know. I have a tab section for violence, lol, because I just think it's really, really funny. And there's just a couple of things that he might have said to her that I just thought were hilarious. And touch so much of a hair of a sloth's head and I will have you shot, he said darkly, but you may continue to help me mount the elephant. It's a bastard of a job for one man.
That's what she said.
The fact that he just does not care to swear in front of a woman, he does not care. I will not, if you think I will not bind you hand and foot like a pig on a spit, I beg you, try me. It just sounds it's the way me and Andy speak to each other. Honest to God. He grunted, go to sleep, Veronica, and if you snore, I shall tie a bell to your neck and throw you out like a meddlesome cat. Yep, I felt that one. I'm just having a fantastic time. I am just having a great time. And there's a lot of like feminism in here as well that I'm really enjoying too. Like I'm just having a great time. I think it's hilarious. I do think it's hilarious. There's a section here that she's going on about losing a job. I was quite disappointed to lose my position there within a month. His lips twitched. For what reason? I shifted a little. Because I amputated a toe without permission. What? And listen, I'm just having a fantastic time and I'm really having a great time. You know what does annoy me? It's not about the book either. Well, it's about the publisher. What annoys me, I cannot for the life of me understand why books 6 to 9 I can get on Audible in the UK. Why can I not get books 1 to 5? What is the fucking point in books 6 to 5 being available in the UK if you're not going to give me books 1 to 5? For what reason? Luckily, I probably shouldn't be doing this and probably shouldn't be admitting it. I do have access to a US Audible account, and the friend whose access I've got account to, whose access I have the account, whose account I have access to, struggles, whose account I have access to, does have the first book, but not the rest. So I have the first book on audio and I don't know how I'm going to read the rest in the series, because I can tell you right now I want to read the rest in the series. I'm only 113 pages in, but I want to read the rest in the series. I don't know how I'm going to get access to those audiobooks. I can get books 6 to 9, fantastic. What about 2, 3, 4 and 5? Because you can't get them in the UK. Why? For what reason? They're so annoying. If anyone's got a solution for me, I would truly appreciate it, because otherwise I don't know what I'm going to do. Because actually the audiobook is fantastic as well, and I think that it's the only way that makes sense to consume this book. I'm not gonna lie, I'm sure Katie would agree, but Katie, so far fucking loving it. You will be happy to know. I will come back to you with another update either halfway through or when I've finished. I can't imagine much will change on my opinion on this until the end. So yeah, be back with another update. Okay, I am here to give you my final thoughts on A Curious Beginning. I tabbed this up. I was highlighting, I was making notes every now and then. I had a fantastic time with this. My notes aren't like ridiculously, sorry, my highlighting isn't ridiculously like pretty or anything, but I do go to town sometimes. There are times in books where I just want to highlight the whole fucking lot, and other times where I just don't find a great deal, but there will be like that one quote or something. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I have finished A Curious Beginning. I fucking love this. This was fantastic. Katie, thank you for finally forcing me to pick this up, because this has been on my shelves for a while and I'm glad that I've finally gotten to it. I just loved everything about this. It was so good. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that I would enjoy historical fiction as much as I've loved this. Like I really enjoyed the Stalking the Jack the Ripper series. Can't fully remember what I rated them because it's been a long time since I've read them and I would like to reread them, but it was definitely 4 stars if not 5. But this was like an incredibly easy 5-star. Incredibly easy. This is going to be in my top 10 of the year, if not top 5. I freaking love this. I'm having quite a bit of that this year, but I freaking love this. I really enjoyed it. I loved the characters. I loved Veronica and Stoker. They were so much fun. And I loved the way that the other characters within the story were weaving in and out, and we had several reveals with some of them, and the different things that were going on. This completely went in a direction I wasn't anticipating either. Like the whole thing starts off with what looks to be a robbery at Veronica's home that then turns into an attempted kidnapping that she manages to get out of because somebody helps her. And then that guy then takes her to Stoker's, where he basically asks Stoker, can you just look after her for a while? I think she's in danger. She's not convinced she is. Can you just keep your eye on her for a while? I'll be back. I will explain everything to you. Now this guy knows about Veronica's family, her mum, who died when Veronica was young and actually knows nothing about her. She's been brought up by 2 aunts. So, and she knows nothing about her father either. So he's like, I will tell you all this information once I get back. A few days go by and it's announced in the paper that this man has now died. And they find themselves in a bit of, like, a spot of bother at that point, because they're pretty convinced that they're going to be the people that are going to be stitched up for this, because they know the guy and they're together. So they go on this kind of like adventure, if you like, disappearing, trying to stay out of the police's eye. Now, the direction that this ended up taking, I didn't see it coming to that. I assumed it may have something to do with Veronica's family and her lineage, but I didn't see it going in that direction, and I was really, really surprised. I just really enjoyed this. I thought the whole thing was great, the way it wrapped up, the mystery element of it, and as well, I love the banter between Stoker and Veronica. Just love it. The way that they bicker like an old married couple is outstanding, and it genuinely, me and Andy, we bicker like this all the time, and it's really funny. I think it's really funny anyway, and this is why we can never be mad at each other, because we'll bicker back and forth like that and then just end up laughing at each other. But I think it's hilarious, and I thought this book in itself was hilarious in its entirety. I thought it was really, really funny. I thought that Veronica had a lot of very interesting things to say about feminism and about women in general, especially in this time period, and the way that Stoker backs her up in a lot of those opinions. I just loved it. I loved the way that they became quite close friends, but you can tell there is like an underlying something more between the two of them, and I think this is going to be an incredible slow burn, and I am so ready. I am 100% continuing on with this series. Coming back to the thing that pisses me off with this series though, you know, in the first clip I said that it really annoys me that you can't get the first 5 audiobooks in the UK. They only have them in the US. The other thing that pisses me off is, why are the first 3 books in these covers in the UK, and then books 4 to 9 are the US covers? Why would you do that? Why? For what reason? Can someone have a word with the publisher, please? Titan, what are you doing? What are you doing? Do you understand how imperative it is, if we're going to collect an entire series, how imperative it is that they have the same cover? I've managed to locate somewhere where I can get the same covers, but it's going to cost me an arm and a leg to do so, and I'm going to have to get all the US covers. So this now, because the UK covers do not exist in books 4 to 9. They're not a thing. They only have US covers. So this now is almost redundant, and I've just gone ahead and highlighted and tabbed the whole fucking thing up, and I'm going to end up with a US copy now. So, which, you know, it's okay, but it's just annoying. But yeah, I am going to continue on with the series. I'm going to have to see if I can get my hands on the US audiobooks somehow, because I think, for me, it is my favourite. I don't think... Do I think I would enjoy this as much as if I was physically reading it? I don't know if I would, you know. I would have probably, it would have been a case of putting it down and coming back to it when I could be bothered, if I hadn't had the audiobook for the first one, which I was very lucky to get, only because I had somebody else's Audible account. Sneaky, sneaky. But I think the audiobook brings this to life. It brings the humour to life. The narrator, she's fantastic. She does such a good job with this. She gives all of the characters great personality, and I just really enjoyed that. So I do want to continue listening to the audiobooks of these, and I think if I can get my hands on the audiobooks, this is a series that I could pretty much blast my way through very, very quickly. Don't see myself getting bored with this series, so I do imagine I could read some of these back to back. But I loved this. It was absolutely fantastic, and I'm so glad that Katie's forced me to pick this up finally. It was so fucking good. 5 stars.
Okay, and Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer by Frederick Bachman. I just want to see you cry. I just want to see you cry. I'm just kidding. It is about a man who is going through dementia, and you get the perspective of the person who is losing their memories and how just haunting that is. And it's literally, even thinking about it is so sad.
Okay, sorry if you can hear the traffic, the window's open. It's pouring down with rain, but it's still quite warm, so the window is open. I am going to be, as Kate has just mentioned, picking up And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer by Frederick Backman. I didn't do like an intro to the Veronica Speedwell one. You got me when I was partway through the book. But with this one, it is so short, it's less than 100 pages, that I feel like I do need to give you a little bit of an intro and tell you how nervous and anxious I am about picking this up, because I think that it is going to potentially tear me apart, which is the reason why I have held back from reading this for a really long time. I have never had someone in my life that directly affects me go through Alzheimer's, so I have never had to deal with that directly. I have had friends who have had grandparents who have had it and have told me what it's like, and it sounds heartbreaking and horrific, and I am in complete terror every single day that my parents could get it, or I mean, on the basis that my grandparents haven't so far, I'm not sure that would be the case, but it does worry me every single day that my dad especially, I think, could get it, and it terrifies me. So I think that this will be heartbreaking, potentially heartwarming as well. I think it's time that I did give it a read. I've managed to get the audiobook on BorrowBox, which is my library app, and I'm not going to speed. I usually listen to my audiobooks on like 2.5 speed. I'm not going to speed it up that much. I am going to take my time with this, but I feel like the element of the audiobook will really help as well, bring the story to life. And yeah, I think this is going to hit hard, and I'm nervous. So I'm going to go and make myself some lunch right now. I am doing some sprints with my patrons, but I'm going to make some lunch right now. And then in the next sprint, I will just dedicate the whole sprint to getting through this, because it's not going to take me long at all. I think there's going to be lots of tears, and then I will come back and tell you my full thoughts on it. But yeah, that is my plan. Okay, I have finished And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer. This is obviously going to get 5 stars. This was really, really sad. Really sad. I think I mentioned this before, but this is one of my biggest fears in life, is that a family member will get dementia and won't remember who I am or the memories we have. I can't decide if it's more of a fear that I will get it, or if it's more of a fear that a family member will get it. But I think if I had kids, I would be more terrified for myself, because I couldn't imagine being in a position where I can't remember my own children. Even now without kids though, I've got Thomas and Luca. I would hate it if I couldn't remember them. Absolutely hate it. This was really, really sad. This grandpa's sat with his nephew Noah on a bench, And you kind of get in a situation where they're having a conversation and he's trying to explain to Noah what's going on and the fact that he can't remember things anymore. And then you'll jump into a paragraph where he's with his wife who has already passed away, and you'll get them having a conversation about how he tells Noah, or reliving a memory, or discussing about them falling in love, or discussing dementia as a whole. And then you will get sections where he's with his son Ted, who is Noah's dad, and having conversations with Ted, and even like having, you know, the pair of them lashing out at each other because they're so frustrated with the situation. All the while you've got these conversations with Noah interwoven in about him trying to figure out what this means and how this affects his granddad and how it's going to affect his life, and what can Noah do to help his granddad. It's just really, really sad. Really sad. Really heartfelt. And definitely gets you thinking about life in itself, even at my age, at 34 years old, and some of the things that we take for advantage in life. I don't know. I'm definitely the sort of person that doesn't tend to take pictures a lot when, you know, I'm spending time with family or with friends. I don't tend to take a lot of pictures. Some of my other friends just spend the whole time we're together taking pictures. Some friends are like in between, and I very rarely take pictures. Me and Andy don't have a lot of pictures of ourselves for this reason. There aren't a lot of pictures of me as a whole unless other people are taking them. And I just forget, and I think what happens is I like to live in the moment. I don't want to be living the moment through my phone screen, which is fine. But then in a situation like this, all you have left is those pictures and not the memories. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I need to find a nice happy balance between the two, living in the moment but also making sure I've got memories of those as well, not just in here but physical memories as well, to remember, because you just never know. Oh, this was really, really sad. So beautifully written. So beautifully written. I haven't run it through Corpal yet, but it's obviously getting 5 stars. Katie, thank you for forcing me to read this one. It's been on my shelves for a really long time, and it is about time that I picked it up. It was literally 79 pages, but it was a really hard and tough and emotional 79 pages, and I'm really glad that I've read this. I'm definitely keeping this one. I'm obsessed with this cover. It's so beautiful. Yeah, incredible. I love this. 5 stars.
Okay, one more, and I think this is going to be a surprise pick. I am going to say The Thursday Murder Club by Frederick Bachman. Did I say Frederick? Oh my God, Richard Osman. Though they do rhyme. This is another cozy mystery, but this is following a group of 4 pensioners, 2 women and 2 men, who, it's that kind of like high school situation where you would never have become friends with that person if you didn't sit next to them in homeroom every day for a year, where these 4 people are so insanely different and come from insanely different walks of life and have such varying characteristics and history and talents that they come together every Thursday in the puzzle room and they try to solve cold cases. Now, what happens is crimes start happening today in their real life at their retirement home, and they're having to solve them. And it is so funny. And this is another one, like A Curious Beginning, that you're going to read the first one and go, oh, that was good. Keep going. Books 2 and 4, when I tell you book 4, I still haven't forgiven Richard Osman for book 4. I haven't forgiven him. But also, the chapters are so short, so that's good. But the audiobook is fantastic. And I would highly recommend the audiobook. So yeah.
Okay, so The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. I've had this on my shelves for a while. I went to Scotland with my family a couple of years ago, and the lady who owned the place that we were staying at actually gave this to me. She knew that I was into my books and stuff, and she was like, oh, I've just finished this one, would you like to take it with you? So I was like, okay, cool, because I'd heard good things. So I've had this on my shelves for a while now, and I just haven't picked it up. Side note, I am incredibly dizzy today. I do not feel well at all, so I've been sitting just reading all day. So I'm feeling incredibly dizzy, and every time I move just a little bit too fast or lift my head up or down too quickly or at all, quite frankly, I feel incredibly dizzy. I don't necessarily feel nauseous, just very dizzy. So just if you see me closing my eyes and just steadying myself for a minute, that's exactly what's going on. Felt the need to explain myself. Anyway, I'm now 101 pages into this. So this does follow a group of older people, late 70s, early 80s, that live in a residential home. I think that's retirement village. Sorry, retirement village. These things look really cool. My grandpa and my nana were talking about going in one before my grandpa passed, but they look really, really cool. So these 4 friends are Elizabeth, Joyce, Ibram and Ron, and they initially kind of got along because they built up this Thursday club, essentially, Thursday murder club, where they would talk, you know, unsolved cases. They would discuss these unsolved cases and not necessarily solve them, but they would just talk about them until one day in their town nearby, somebody actually dies and they have a real case nearby that they can work on. They make friends with the local PC, who's called Donna. They make friends with her and they come up with an agreement that essentially the Thursday Murder Club will help her. Because, you know, these are old people. People tend to talk to old people a lot easier than they will the police. So this is where I'm up to. I will say, I think I've not gotten into this. It's very, very different, but I've not gotten into this as quickly as I did get into Veronica Speedwell. I got straight into that and I was straight into it and I was hooked from page 1. This one is a little bit slower. I am enjoying it, but it is a little bit slower. I don't know if I'm gonna love this one, but it's good so far. I am intrigued to know what has happened and whether or not they'll solve it and how they'll solve it. There is a lot of characters in this as well. It's not easy to keep everybody like straight, and as you're going through the book, more characters are being introduced and I'm not sure why or where they stand. So I am finding it just ever so slightly confusing, but so far I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying the writing style as a whole. It's interesting. I'm having a good time. So it is about time I got to this one to at least try it. Whether or not I continue on with this series once I've finished, I'm not sure. We'll find out once I get to the end. But I just thought while I'm 100 pages in, I would come on and give you my initial thoughts on this. I don't know if I'll give you an update again before I finish it, but if not, I will just let you know my thoughts on it. One thing I will say, the chapters are short, which I really enjoy. I do love a good mystery thriller where the chapters are short. I love any book with short chapters, quite frankly. It will encourage me to continue to sit and read the book. So there is that. But yeah, I am making my way through this and I am enjoying it so far. So I'm going to continue on with this one. Okay, hello. It is the next day and I have finished reading The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. I liked this. It was good. It was good. It was fine. Do I think I'll continue on with the series? Maybe. I'm not in any rush to do so like I am with the Veronica Speedwell series, but it was fine. I think the group of people that we're following are really fun and I really enjoy them as a whole. I think it's really interesting to follow a group of older people that are in like a retirement community or even an old people's home where they've got literally nothing better to do with their time than stick their nose in something that's none of their business. And I just think it's hilarious, and I do think that that's a really fun element to this. I do like that we get like the odd diary entry almost from Joyce. I like that we do follow the different characters. We're not just following from like Elizabeth, we're following from the different characters as well. There is a lot of characters in this and I did find myself a little bit confused sometimes because it wasn't just like the one death. I mean, it was all connected in the end, but it wasn't just the one death. There was like fucking murder everywhere, in all honesty. I do think it would be interesting to continue on and read more of these, but I don't know if I will rush to do so. It's not the sort of series that I'm in a rush to do so. However, yesterday while reading this, I was in a rush to try and get all of the Veronica Speedwell books, so that one is definitely one that I'm going to continue on with. This one maybe not so much. I haven't run it through Court Pal yet, but I reckon it's going to get like a 4-star. It might be a low 4-star on Court Pal, but I reckon it should at least get a 4-star. I did have a good time with it. I thought it was really interesting, very clever. Love the personalities and the different characters that we've got in here, and I had a good time with it. I'm glad that I finally read it, because I have had this book for a while now. I think I've already told you the origin of where I got this. It was given to me by someone when I went to Scotland a few years ago with my family, and the lady who owned the place where we were staying basically said that she'd just finished it and said that she thinks I'm really going to enjoy it, so she gave it to me, which was really sweet of her. So I finally finished it, my love, just in case you watch this, I doubt you do, but I finally finished it. Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks to Katie for forcing me to pick this one up. I do appreciate it.
I'm sorry, I'm sure this clip was so long and you did not intend for this. Maybe you didn't want me to talk about what the books are about. I'm sorry, but thank you so much for asking me to do this and for trusting in me that I was going to pick things that you would maybe not love, but that you'd want to read and that you would put yourself through to make this video. Now, obviously what this means is that you have to continue in both those series. Just saying. Anyway, thank you so much, and I'll let y'all all get back to the video. Bye.
Okay, we've reached the end of this video. I don't know how long this video is going to be or how it's come out, but we've reached the end. I have read my 3 books and I have had such a good time. This was such a good taste test and I've really enjoyed myself. Katie, you've outdone yourself with these books. I was expecting Bunny to be on this list by Mona Award. I know it's one of Katie's favourites and I was totally expecting it to be on this list. But I don't know if she's 100% convinced that I'm going to like that book. So I wonder if that's the reason why she's not giving it me. Because these 3, all wins. All of them. A Curious Beginning, which is the first in the Veronica Speedwell series by Deanna Rayborn. 5 freaking stars. This was so fucking good. I absolutely loved this and I'm very excited to continue on with the series. Love the characters, love the banter, love the writing style, love the setting. I love everything about this and the angst between our 2 main characters. This is going to be a slow burn for the ages. I can see it coming a mile off and I'm very excited to continue on with this one. So 5 stars for this one. We have An Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer by Frederick Backman. This is only a short little thing and it's been on my shelves for so long, but this has forced me to pick it up and I'm so glad that Katie's made me do this. 5 stars for this. I was so sad and so upset while reading this. I absolutely loved it. It was so heartfelt, heartwarming in places, but heartbreaking for the most part. And it was a real look into potentially the mind of an older person while having dementia, and also the people it affects in their life around them and how it can affect them. It was just so beautiful. 79 pages of pure beautiful writing and thoughts, you know. 5 stars for this one. And then last but by no means least, we do have The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman, and this one was good. I gave this one 4 stars. It was good. I had a good time. I would think about continuing on with the series for this one, but I'm not in an immediate rush like I am with the Veronica Speedwell series. This is the sort of thing that would take a back seat, and if in the future, like my mum or my dad probably wouldn't, there's too many characters in here, but if my mum decided to read this and really enjoyed it and she continued to buy the series, I might read it at that point, or you know, they were in the library or something. But I don't think I'm going to go out my way to buy these. This one was gifted to me anyway. 4 stars for this. It was a fun time. I really enjoyed the setting of the retirement village and the older characters sticking their nose in. And the PC as well, the cop, she was a fun time, Donna. And I just had it was fun. It was fun. but I gave it 4 stars. So overall, 2 5s and a 4. Katie, incredible. If you've got any other recommendations for me, let me know, girl, because by the looks of things, you know my tastes pretty well, and I do wonder, I know you've loved the Thursday Murder Club more than I probably have, but I do wonder if our tastes align more than I thought they did. So yeah, I had a fantastic time. Thank you so much for filming the initial clip for this. I truly appreciate you and the effort that you went into to do that, because I know you made lists and lists and lists, and you went through my Goodreads, you went through my videos of all of my own books, and you did a lot of intensive research to pick these 3. So I truly appreciate you, no end, and I love you a whole hecking ton. So thank you so much for doing this. I had such a good time. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Chat to me in the comments down below. Have you read any of these? Either of them, there's 3. Have you read any of these? And I shall see you in whatever comes next. Bye for now.